the Las Vegas Sportsline.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
Get the scoreboard update in a minute. We got one game coming right down to the wire. It looks like the dog might get the money in that one if it stays out overtime. We'll tell you about that in a second. First, our angle of the day from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Make a reservation, 702-792-9222, I think. I'm blanking on the number today. I blank on this number like once a month. And so I might have given you the wrong phone number right now, but it's real easy. Just check out Joe's on Google. And the numbers, you don't even have to need the number. You just press call and it'll connect you and you're all set. Okay.
So we get to bet against one of the worst home favorites in the NBA tonight for the angle of the day.
Warriors?
No.
Okay, because they're one of the worst home favorites.
This team is 3-14-1 against the number their last 18 tries.
Well, that's not good at all.
4-11 against the spread their last 17 at home. That team, the Miami Heat. Meanwhile, the Pistons, their opponent tonight, the underdog tonight, coming off a very ugly loss in Brooklyn, they're 7-2 against the spread their last 9, even after that ugly loss. So the Joe's angle of the day says take the Pistons plus the 2. If you shop around, you can find better than that in Miami this evening.
The Fordham-Richmond game is coming down to the wire. There are 11 seconds to go in that game. And it is a 50-48 Richmond lead. Richmond, by the way, 4 for 10 from the foul line in the game. But Fordham's only 4 for 8, so you can't really look at that and say, hey, they made their free throws, because the other team could have made their free throws as well. Idaho and Montana State, that is into the second half. Montana State appears to be taking control over the pathetic Vandals, 46-36. Wyoming leading New Mexico at the half, 38-27 here in the Mountain West. Earlier winners, USC got the win and cover against Arizona, 78-65. We have Virginia Tech easily over Miami, 71-56. Idaho State and Southern Utah, the Thunderbirds, 94-80, a big second half for them. Boise State beat Colorado State 66-57. George Washington over UMass in overtime, 68-64. Clemson lost to NC State, and I don't want to hear about, the officials got it wrong at the end of the game. Clemson got it wrong, okay? I grant you, the officials blew the end of the game, but I'm sorry. You got a big lead like that, learn how to run an offense, okay? Clemson does that all the time.
That being said, the officials blew the game.
Yes, they did. Yeah,
I mean,
they
you
did.
can't. You just swallow it if you don't see it. I mean, because Clemson blew that game early. That lead was all gone.
They should never let NC State back in the game, and they did, because they don't know how to
by
run
the
an
6-minute mark of the second half, the lead was all gone.
Right.
So it wasn't like at the end. I mean, at the end, they played winning defense and got penalized for it.
Yes, but they put themselves in that situation. Brad Brownell's a stiff. Okay, Sacramento State beat Northern Arizona 72-60, and I believe there's 1 second to go in the Richmond game. They lead 52-50, so I don't know if that's going final or not. We'll get you an update on that.
If you have Fordham, you want that to go final as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Overtime, not your friend.
No, you just don't. Well, and don't give them a 3-shot foul. I don't think you have to worry about that one. Because if it lands on 4, you still get the money with Fordham.
Mm-hmm.
I did not play that basketball game, so I can't jinx anybody on that one. Okay, let's look at the Padres, who have had, well, it's been quite an off season for the Padres. And look, there is reason for optimism here, but I don't know about this year. And the more I'm looking at this, I'm getting tempted to play the under on the win total, because their rotation stinks, okay? They got Joey Lucchesi and a bunch of guys. And the bullpen might not be as good as it was last year, because Brad Hand isn't there anymore. They've still got 2 very good relievers in Kirby Yates and Craig Stammen. But behind that, I don't know, Matt Strom could be decent. There's still a lot of holes at position players. Second base isn't good. Shortstop is unknown right now, as they'll have the rookie Urias, who's going to probably play that position. The outfield, I don't know, can Myers stay in the field? Can Renfroe? Renfroe's not one of my favorite guys. Margot's got to bounce back from a terrible second season. Yeah, I like third base. I think first base will be good with Hosmer. I like Austin Hedges behind the plate, and Mejia, wherever he ends up. But there's still a lot of holes in the team, Teddy.
There's a lot, but one of the things that you have to recognize if you're betting any future on the Padres this year, particularly when it comes to the season win total, the team you see in April is not going to be the team you see after the All-Star break. Obviously you talk about Tatis, who isn't expected to come up right away necessarily, but he'll be there. When you look at it's a really young staff.
Yes.
I know Erlin's 28. He feels young. Of course, he has a ERA over 6 as a starter last year. They're talking about him as a number 2 starter this year, so that's a concern. And then, Lucchesi was what? He was a double-A guy before last year. He's
really good. I mean, he's got a confusing delivery, but it's an easy delivery for him, evidently. Mm-hmm. Despite all these moving parts, his mechanics remain really sound. I was talking to somebody who watched him pitch down in Arizona, and it's like, he really looks good. He's going to be better than he was last year.
But, the rest of that staff, Erlin, they're talking about Lauer. Mm-hmm. He's got 4 AAA starts. Yeah. And Pennsylvania was the number 3 starter. But what does this team look like in August and September?
Yeah.
They might look very, very different. And
that's the thing. Tatis is going to be up soon. Mm-hmm. And that's the guy who, he's not he'll open the year in the minors, but he's going to be up real quickly. And Tatis changes everything right away. So if the Padres do bring him up and do put him right in the lineup on the left side of the infield with Machado, now you're talking about you've got some thunder at the plate.
But it's at Petco where thunder goes to die.
No, not for righty hitters though. That's not a bad ballpark to pull the ball in. They've made a few configuration changes.
Sure,
there.
You can hit it down the line and get it out.
Yep.
You can hit a long fly ball down the line and it has a chance to carry. But anything that you hit to the alleys,
Well, fine, go play gap to gap because they're the one team that shouldn't be focusing on launch angle.
Sure.
Hit the ball, make contact, put the ball in play, because you can do some damage offensively in a ballpark like that, because it's a big pasture out there. I mean, if you place the ball in right center field, you're going to get extra bases on a frequent basis at Petco. Ball rolls to the wall, you might get a triple. So there's ways to put runs on the board there, and the team did score more last year.
Sure, they're supposed to be playing in the style that the Royals played in when the Royals went to back-to-back World Series. But my biggest issue with the Padres is that I can't figure out how to make money with them. I don't look at them as an over team. I don't look at them as an under team. I don't look at them as a bet on team. And this rotation ensures they're not going to be a good bet against team because you're not laying these huge prices on any of their starters. So it's not a team that you're going to be cashing these plus 180 tickets against on a regular basis. I don't know what to do with the Padres. My initial inclination with San Diego going into week 1 is to pass.
And that's what I'm going to do on the total. I think it's a little high, but it's not too high. So I still like the Diamondbacks under more, and I don't think the Adam Jones trade moved the needle at all for them because he can't play the outfield. The Giants are really not good. Okay, so that Padres total, even though I don't think they're that much improved yet from last year. I think they will be, but not yet. But I still can't see value in the under, even with the total going up as much as it did.
Sure, I'm not in love with the Rockies either. And we talk about teams in the division.
I think the Rockies are good. I don't know what to do with the division. In fact, that's what worries me about the Diamondbacks under is that the whole division might be down.
Well, you know what to do with the division. Who wins the NL West every year?
The Dodgers.
Thank you.
But even they've got problems going in.
Sure, but they're the best team in the division.
Yeah, bad division this year. I think it's going to be the worst of the 3 divisions in the National League. Central's loaded. The East is loaded. Both those divisions could pick up a lot of wins at the expense of the West.
Sure, those West Coast teams, we always think about the East Coast teams traveling west and having the rough road trips. This might be a whole lot of West Coast teams traveling east having rough road trips this year.
I think you got a bunch of good teams in the East and Central and not so much in the West. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We will get to the Warriors and Rockets. Haven't touched on them yet, but they're playing tonight. That's our marquee matchup next.
The Las Vegas Sportsline.
With John Lyons from Lyons Physical Therapy. So why are physical therapists often the best option to see after you get hurt?
Dave, we specialize in musculoskeletal disorders, which essentially means injuries to muscle, bone, and soft tissue, which are the majority of injuries. So we can identify what the pain source is, and if an appropriate referral needs to be made to, say, an orthopedic surgeon, a neurologist, a pain management specialist. So we can do an in-depth screen of the injury and then refer it out to an appropriate medical provider if necessary.
LionsPTLV.com, 702-476-0222. At MJ Christmas, you're not dealing with a chain. You're dealing with a locally owned establishment that's been here for years and years. And one of the things you guys pride yourself on, Cliff Miller, that's community involvement.
We are deeply involved. Our company is Vegas born, and we're Vegas strong. And what makes Vegas so strong is all the charitable issues that need to be addressed. And anywhere we can, we try to join hand in hand and lift this community up.
MJ Christensen, something special for the love of your life. Located at Boca Park.
What's hot today? It's time for the Wager Talk Marquee Matchup of the Night. WagerTalk.com. Start winning now.
NBA's second season will be coming shortly. And right now they take a back seat to the NCAA tournament and these conference tournaments, March Madness being the main event. But we've got a good one in the NBA tonight. We don't want to bypass this game, Teddy. The Warriors taking on the Rockets. And look, I mean, it's these are the best regular season games when these two get together because they are the two teams that people look at and say, well, they could be the Western Conference finalists.
Yeah, and I mean, Houston's was a team that I didn't have a lot of belief that the Rockets were going to be at the stage they are right now, at this stage of the campaign. They have overachieved in my mind and have gotten much better. And boy, they made, even though Fareed's still hurt, that's a pickup. Him and Shumpert, two guys that are absolutely, for a team that's desperate for any kind of defense. That'll make a big difference. Of course, when it comes to regular season meetings, well, Houston's won them all so far this season. They got a chance for a series sweep.
That's not bad. Against
the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year and has been their toughest contender in the West. And, of course, to tell you that it is not a playoff game, very clear. Kevin Durant's not suiting up for Golden State.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Warriors are still, they're waiting for this for the playoffs to begin. And all this infighting will end. And Kerr won't be saying nasty things about Draymond Green. And they're still going to be the team to beat.
Or it'll all implode, and Kerr will be saying nasty things about Draymond Green, and they'll be out in the second round. Which sometimes
if that happens.
Which sometimes happens.
Oh, yeah, look. It can happen. And, all good things can and must come to an end. So who knows? Maybe it'll happen to the Warriors this season. That actually would, to me, make the NBA playoffs more interesting. If the Warriors were to get knocked out in the second round, it's like, okay, now I'm watching. Because otherwise,
I mean, Golden State, they just lost at home to Phoenix. I mean, that's the level they're playing at right now.
That's not good.
No. Although, I mean, Suns have won 4 of their last 5.
I don't know why they're doing this.
All the lottery teams are. It's the craziest year that I've ever seen when it comes to NBA lottery teams. It really is. Because you have the teams that, in theory, should be fighting for ping pong balls, and they're all winning.
Quick odds check before we go to Wager Talk. Before we do that, WagerTalk.com, what's happening there?
Oh, well, I mean, it's conference tournament week.
Busy, huh?
Yeah, exactly. NBA action, college hoops action, big ticket tonight. It's been a pretty good month so far in March, Dave. So see if we can keep it rolling over at Wager Talk this evening.
Keep it rolling. All right, here's mythical odds. Knicks' next home game is on Sunday against LeBron and the Lakers. What is the price on whether there will be a sell the team chant that comes out of the crowd?
I sure hope it is.
Minus 10,000.
I hope it never stops.
That was awesome.
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to have any sympathy for billionaires in general.
Especially him, though.
It's like, and jerky billionaires who inherited it all from their dad.
He's worse. This guy, you realize
you couldn't be more tone deaf.
Look, I've never met him. I'm sure I never will. I am fairly well convinced that if not for the fact that he inherited all these properties in dollars from his father, James Dolan would be an abject failure at anything he tried.
I'm confident of that.
Yeah.
Very confident. However, in the meanwhile, he owns the Knicks, and every Knicks fan is hostage to whatever James Dolan wants to do.
How sensitive can you get, though? He's throwing a guy out because he yelled, sell the team? I mean, if the guy cursed at him or said something about his family, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Sell the team?
Yeah, and it was an orchestrated political event, he said.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Dolan, sell the team.
We got the nation's number one snowflake is the owner of the New York Knicks. And he's it. He's it. You put a big snowflake over Madison Square Garden when the Knicks are playing because he's it. sell the team and he wants to throw the guy out. Wow,
he gets to get away with it because he's a billionaire owner.
Yeah,
He can do whatever he wants.
Yep. Well, and it's his team.
No, but that's just it. It should